pretty obvious the team is clicking. I think over the last 20 games that were 17-3, which is amazing. But Harden had an interview with Ramona Shelburne, ESPN's Ramona Shelburne, and he said in a quote that everyone's talking about is, we had some really good teams in Oklahoma City, and then that 2018 Houston team. But this team is definitely the best chance I've had to win. So I'm going to ask you guys, is this Harden's best team, and is this his best chance to win one?
Can't say it's his best team. But I do believe it's his best chance. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at those other years, it was a clear favorite in each of those years. And I believe the clear favorite either won it or lost in the championship. So this year, I don't see a clear favorite. I think if you're going in, especially the way they're playing right now, they gotta feel like they can beat any team in the East. And right now, if you can beat any team in the East, you can beat any team in the West. So from that standpoint, it's probably his best chance because it's not a situation where it's Golden State from the previous years. I mean, even Golden State won it last year, but nobody really thought they were, you know what I'm saying? They kind of happened.
They weren't a shoe-in at all.
It wasn't sure. We didn't feel like, hey, they're going to win it again. We didn't feel like that. Once they got to the finals, we felt like that. But going to the season and this part of the season, we didn't know. Whereas this year is sort of like, we don't know. I mean, team can get rolling like we're rolling now. If you carry that momentum and keep playing that way, somehow get home court, you're winning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I do agree that this could be his best chance of winning the championship. I do not think it's his best team, though.
So let me ask a question. OKC Harden, 2018 Houston Harden, or this Harden? Rank those three, those versions.
Well, I mean, he was younger in OKC, so that would be third.
Yeah. So let's say Houston 18, OKC. Houston here, OKC. Okay, so yeah, that's what I thought too.
But but the difference with this Harden, that Harden was the number one option. This Harden isn't.
He was a six man, right? He was their Maxey.
No, I'm saying in Houston.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's true.
In OKC, he was a starter that they decided to bring off the bench.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
So I looked at everyone that had played 20 minutes or more on those teams. Durant, this is the OKC team. Durant, Russ, Harden, Ibaka, Perk, Cephalosha, Collison, and Derek Fisher. Houston, this is the 2008 team. Ariza, Paul, Gordon, Tucker, Capella, Ryan Anderson, Mbah Mute, Gerald Green, Joe Johnson. Good names on there.
Yeah.
And with us, it's the shortest of all of them. Embiid, Harris, Maxey, Melton, Tucker, Milton, and then Niang's like 19.8, so I rounded up for him. So overall talent-wise, actually, it almost looks like the Houston team might be the deepest of that team.
The Houston team was the most talented.
Yeah. And it had the best Harden, which is very important.
At best Harden, they had the most talented guys in their times of their career. And they had the best mold for their style of play.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It was built. I think that Houston 18 was the mecca of all the builds around like Harden and what he needed. Defensive.
I mean, that team had Golden State beat.
Yeah, I know. Harden had such a different narrative right now.
Yeah, they had that team beat.
It could be so different. It's crazy. But yeah, I'd say Thing is, though, if we're going to second best player, we're just doing player by player. What CP3, Embiid in that time, Embiid's more dominant than CP3 was that year, I think.
But you can't compare
big man
Embiid,
and point guard.
You can't compare Embiid to CP. You got to compare Embiid to James and compare James to CP.
Yeah.
That's pretty valid, actually.
That's 1-1-2-2.
That's pretty valid. Okay. So that's a good one, actually. So Embiid now or Harden that year?
That's the comparison.
That's tough. That is really tough. And then Harden now and Paul are actually very comparable.
Yes.
And then you go to the third to be what? Gordon versus Harris.
In their role. Eric Gordon was really, really good in this role.
Yeah, and their stats are probably pretty comparable too.
Really, really good in this role.
And then you have Maxey, Ariza?
You pick it. You can say Capella. Like, we don't know. Like, who was good in their role?
Yeah.
And Tucker is Tucker. That's pretty much a wash, right? So we don't.
No, Tucker was better then.
Tucker was definitely better then.
What he was doing, yeah, he was. That's what 5 years ago. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was doing.
Yeah.
He could. His defensive prowess was more verse.
It was superior then. Yeah, he was a little lighter on the feet then. Shot might
he was able to
better
defend.
now.
He was, back then he was guarding centers. He was guarding almost like 1-5.
Yeah.
So no, he wasn't the same guy.
And then bench, I'd give them. I mean, Anderson, Gerald Green, Joe Johnson.
Gerald Green played well for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I overall probably lean. And that's funny that we went Houston even over OKC, even though they have Durant and Russ, but
because they were all young.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. I mean, if we look at those guys now, no, I would never pick anybody over them.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people do that too. They go into this with like today's view, right? Not what they were then. You have to kind of shuffle back to that. Yeah. Pretty interesting. And Cephalosha was our Matisse Thybulle, by the way.
Yeah, we drafted him. Sixers were the ones that actually drafted Cephalosha.
Yeah,
we traded him on draft night for Rodney Carney. I thought Carney was gonna be so good, man. I have a Rodney Carney jersey. Oh man,
Cephalosha was one that he was a 3-and-D. He played his role well.
Yep, that's what you want Matisse to be, right? That's what we all want Matisse to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not saying a word, man. You got that. That's you.
You know what I want. All right, we'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you were psyched about his play last night. You were he
had a great game, man.
His minutes on Lillard last night.
He had a great game.
Yeah, he did.
Lillard had a hard time. I don't know if it's because of the defense or you just one of those off nights for him, but Thybulle was all over the place.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Hey, Portland was rumored to be interested in Matisse this offseason. They should have anteed up a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, he showcased for him.
Mm-hmm.
Lillard for Thybulle straight up.
Yeah, when I got traded to Philly, they called like I was a free agent. I played 2 years in Seattle and I was a free agent. And Philly was one of the teams that offered me a contract when Larry Brown got there. Philly and Miami both offered me deals, minimum deals. And then Seattle was able to give me more. But we played Philly like twice that year. And within after we played them the second time, they start calling for a trade.
Oh, wow.
I have two of my best games when I was in Seattle was against Philly.
Man, that's crazy.
And they were calling.
So the stuff that people say about that, it's actually there's
well, Larry Brown was just like he was smart. I mean, he was looking for what I did in Philly is what he was looking for.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't something that kind of like, hey, now that we have him, we're able to move Allen to the 2. Like, he was looking for that. A guy that could play the point the way I want the point to be played and defend bigger guards.
Yep.
And
he knew the kind of team that he needed to build around Allen.
He knew move Allen off the ball so he could be, who he is and who we all love, know. So.
That's cool.
That'll be something different, man. Love Coach Brown.